liabilities are how much money you owe people. If your liabilities are bigger than your assets, you don't have enough money to pay people back. And you definitely don't have any money in your pocket when you're done. And you may be going to court. So keep a lookout for that. Yeah.
Like for instance, I know somebody who started a business, they just like purchased a bunch of equipment with a credit card. And they just like opened a credit card and they did that, and so like for the first like several months. So would that be, so with negative equity, does that just mean that in any time that money would be kicked into equity, it just goes directly out to people? Or like how does that?
The credit card would be, so if you went out, so if we bought the cooler, pitcher, and table on a credit card, right? Instead of using our $40 in cash, we wouldn't have paid any cash, right? This would still be $40 up here. And instead of paying $10 out in cash, we would have had a $10 liability. So this would be, so then we would have $40 in cash, $50 in investments. We would have $10 in liabilities, $40 in equity, so this would be 50. It would be 50 and 50. Does everybody see that? No. That was kind of, I went through that kind of fast. So if we had done this, so what we did was we took, everybody put in $10 in cash, right?
How is the credit card cash?
The credit card's not cash. So if we had done this differently, right? If we had done this differently, so instead of paying $10 in cash, if we had bought it on a credit card, we would still have $40 in cash and checking, right? Because we wouldn't have paid the credit card bill yet.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, so we
wouldn't have paid the credit card bill yet. So we'd still have $40 in cash. So we'd have $40 in cash, $10 in investments.
Right.
We'd have $10 in liabilities, which is the credit card bill, right? And we'd still have $40 in equity. So this would be 50 and this would be 50. And then what happens when you pay your credit card bill? Your cash goes down by 10, your liabilities go down by 10, and it looks like this again. Okay? We're getting kind of advanced. That's more than you need to know right now. But let's just go back to this. So this is what we did do. We pooled our resources, we got $40, we spent 10 of it on stuff. Then what happens? We're going to do business for a week. So this is our snapshot of day 1, right? Now we're going to take a movie of week number 1. Is everybody with me? Yeah. So, on the other side, you have our profit and loss. And you remember the diagram I did before? Mm-hmm. So the big box is what? Income. And what's the first thing that we have to pay out of income? Our cost of goods. Does everybody see that? First thing we pay out of our income is our cost of goods. And what's our cost of goods for lemonade? Oh, I forgot something. Okay, that's all right. Yeah, what's our cost of goods for lemonade?
Lemons, sugar, water.
Yep.
So are we breaking this under materials?
Eyes, cups.
Yes, under materials. So we have lemons, sugar, cups. I'm going to say we spent $8 on those things altogether. Okay? So, we're going to do business for 3 weeks. So the biggest square is the sales. And the first thing that we pay out of cost of sales is cost of goods. And what's left over after we pay cost of goods?
Gross profit.
Gross profit. Excellent. Who can see that it's gross profit? Does everybody see why it's gross profit from the other drawing? So I'm going to say we had kind of a light week our first week. It was kind of tough. And we made $7. Okay? We had a rough first week. So what's our gross profit? -1. Okay? What do we have to pay out of our gross profit? Because wages are what? They're overhead. Right. Not all wages are overhead, I should say, but some wages are. So let's say that they're overhead. So we're going to pay our overhead expenses, which includes wages. So I'm going to say that our lemonade stand was operating for 2 hours, and there were 2 people working there, and they each got paid $6 an hour. Wait, no, it was operated for one hour. They were only out for 1 hour, and there were 2 people, and they got paid $6 an hour. So what was the cost of that?
$12, but we're in trouble.
Yeah, you see where this is going?
Well, it's not minimum wage.
Well, it's a lemonade stand, so we're being flexible. It's an under-the-table business. We want to keep the numbers kind of simple. So what's left over after we paid the overhead expenses? Anybody remember? Net profit. So that's the third box, remember?
-13.
What do you think?
Do the pitcher and the cooler and the table don't show up on this statement at all?
Nope. Nope. Because go back to your flow chart. Those are investments, right? Those are the tools that you use to make your money.
So investments just go into the balance sheet?
Investments go onto the balance sheet. Yep.
Selling expenses is not the cost of goods. What's the selling expenses?
We're going to go over that next.
Okay.
Okay. So if we had -$1 in gross profit and we had to pay out $12 in wages, how much net income did we have? Did everybody see that? -13. Where did that money come from? I mean, it didn't come out of thin air, right? Where did, we only took in $7 from
our bank account.
Came out of our bank account. So at the end of this week, we had $7 in sales, -$1 in gross profit, and -$13 in net income. Okay? Does anybody want to see those blue charts again? Or do we want to stick with this?
Wait a minute. Total expenses was
Total expenses was $12.
$12.
The only expense we had was wages in this week.
Okay. So our net profit was -13. Got it.
All right. Does everybody get the movie? So here's what happened. This movie has a story, right? We took some money out of the bank. We went to the store. We bought these things. We sat down. We applied our labor to it. We tried to sell lemonade. We made $7, and we ended up with less money at the end than we started with. So now let's go back here. So now we're going to take another snapshot. So that movie just went by, right? And now we're going to take another snapshot. So what does our snapshot look like?